Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to Lineup Prediction here on the Magpie Channel TV. Thursday, Brucey's press conference, that crept up on me a little bit there, wasn't expecting that today. It's usually on a Friday, 24 hours early, God knows why. But he had a fair bit to say in the press conference today. The main ones, obviously always the players, that's what I look forward to in the Lineup Prediction. And there's a little bit of good news in regards to Florian Lejeune and Fabien Schär, who are both back. Brucey says they've trained well the last couple of weeks and both come into the reckoning. As long as they come through the next 2 or 3 days unscathed, they'll be all right. That's another thing. This is coming 4 days before the game. Obviously, the game's not till Monday night. And usually a day late. I think this is the first Monday night game of the season. And the press conference comes a day earlier. So we've got 4 days now. So anything can happen in the next 4 days, really. So my lineup might mean shit come Monday. But Lejeune and Schär are in contention. An unfortunate thing is Kieran Clark may be out. He says Kieran Clark is our biggest worry after coming on for Ireland during the international break. He's got a knock, so we'll see how he is. Like I say, there's 4 days for him to try and recover. Hopefully he can come through, but the good thing is Lejeune and Schär are back. This has been a bit of a theme of the season, really, especially with the centre-backs. Like, we've had injuries and suspensions all season, but because we're so deep, and everyone steps up when called upon, we're usually fine. Like Kieran Clark, for example, he was a player that I didn't really want to see in the team. I was never his biggest fan coming into the season. But when he's come in, same with Federico Fernandez, they've nailed it. And like, you can't drop them when they've been on that form, especially Kieran Clark. He's my top goal scorer. Like, how can you drop him? But yeah, we'll see how he comes on. Like, he might get a game. Who knows? He's got 4 days to try and recover. Obviously, Matt Ritchie's still in injury news. He's injury still ongoing. He's going to see a specialist again. It's just another one of them things. Like he says, like, he was back a couple of weeks ago, but just as soon as he got back in training, had another setback, and I don't know how long it's going to be. It's not really good news on Matt Ritchie. In his left wing back spot, Jetro Willems has stepped up really well, so haven't really missed him. Lascelles as well, he's another one. He's out until the new year, but thankfully, because of how deep we are at centre back, we shouldn't really miss him too much. Like with Schär. Schär's been our top defender this season, really. He's been out, but Clark and Fernandez stepping up. We've been sound, so I'm not too concerned. I think the issue is maybe if we try and force Lejeune or Schär in too much, especially Lejeune for how long he's been out, but don't want to upset their injuries like what Ritchie's done, especially with Lascelles being out. So if we lose any more, if we haven't got Lascelles and Lejeune, if anyone else gets injured or suspended, well, down to not that many. So I don't want to see them pushed in too much, as you'll see in my prediction lineup. We'll get into it now then. I've got some more things to say as I'll go. So, goalkeeper, obviously Martin Dubravka. Oh, get myself comfortable. And Carl Darlow on the bench. Right wing, obviously DeAndre Yedlin. He's been fantastic since coming back. Javier Manquillo hasn't had a sniff. And I expect Emil Kraft to start on the bench. Since Yedlin's come back, Kraft's been on the bench for every game, and Manquillo hasn't been in the squad at all since Yedlin come back. So that's what I'm expecting there. I did have during the week, I had a lineup prediction before I knew what was going to happen before Brucey's press conference. And what I did have was Lejeune and Dummett on the bench, because Dummett can play as a left back as well. He's quite versatile. But with the news of Clark, I didn't know Clark was going to be injured, so I had Clark in me starting lineup. But obviously now we know that Clark probably won't be fit. I won't be including him, so we'll keep that right back because I know he's going to be in there. Like I say, Brucey's had him in every team so far for the last few weeks since Yedlin's been back. So me centre-backs, I will start Schär. He's back and he should be fit. Like, he's played quite a few games this season. He's only been out for the last couple of weeks, really. I think it was a long time ago he picked up that injury in the game against Liverpool, but carried on for a good few weeks with the knock. But he's had a couple of games off, and obviously with the international break, we've had pretty much 2 weeks off with the late Monday game. Had 2 weeks to recover again, so he's pretty much had like a month off, really a bit more perhaps. I can't even remember his last game. But if he's back, he should be more match sharp than what Lejeune's been. So Shaw to start on the right-hand side. Federico Fernandez will take the middle spot in place of Lascelles. Like I said before, same with him and Clark. They've been absolutely solid since coming back. I don't know how you can drop either one of them. Not one of them deserves to be dropped. So Fernandez will take that spot, and I'll put Paul Dummett on the left-hand side. Like I say, like none of the defenders have been at fault at all this season. I wouldn't want to drop any one of them. Not one of them deserves to be on the bench or out of the squad. Dummett's a really, really good centre-back, and I trust him in that left-hand spot. So I quite like this three, and I'll have Lejeune on the bench for the reason that he hasn't really had a lot of football over practically 2 years. He got a major injury 2 seasons ago, which put him out for the rest of the season. He came back. It was about this time last year. I think it was about January, February time he came back from his big injury the first time round. He was back for a good few weeks, about a month or so, I think, putting in the typical performances that he does, and got another injury. Typical. So when was that? It's been about 9 months, I think he's been out injured now. So you can't rush him in. As I said before, you don't want to upset any injuries. Like, look at what's happened to Richie. You can't put him in too much. He's only played 45 minutes, and I think it was 70 minutes for the under-23s. They've been trying to ease him back in, but I still think we need to continue to ease him in. There's no point throwing him in the starting lineup and aggravating any injuries when, as I say, we've got cover between Dummett, Fernandez, Shaw. We've got cover. Clark as well when he comes back or if he's fit. It doesn't make sense to start Lejeune right now. So I wouldn't mind seeing him if he gets on, if we need to make a change, if he gets on for 20 minutes or something, I'll be over the moon to see him back in the black and white shirt. If we're going to wear it, wear away. Probably, I don't know. So yeah, that's the back three there. And obviously, as I mentioned, Jetro Willems at left full-back. It's been incredible. Linking up with the wingers, forward play, everything's been amazing from him. Didn't want to see anyone else in his spot. Even when Richie comes back, I kind of feel sorry for Richie at the minute now because he has had this setback. I'm sure he's massively disappointed. And when he does come back, he's got a lot of work to do to get back into that starting lineup because that spot's Willems for me as far as I'm concerned. As far as the future goes, because I know he's only on loan. Hopefully we can make that deal permanent soon. In midfield, don't change a winning momentum. So Hayden and Shelvey straight back in there. Obviously Hayden is being top quality this season, always puts in 100%. Shelvey, his last game against Bournemouth wasn't as good as the one against West Ham, and we know what Shelvey's like. He only tends to put in one good performance every 5 months or so, but he was still good. I think he set a high bar because he played so well against West Ham. We kind of expected him to carry on that against Bournemouth. And he was good, don't get us wrong. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but hopefully he can carry on 3 good games in a row. Very unlike Shelvey. Not really holding my hopes too high, but I would definitely keep them too. Let's say don't change your winning momentum. Last 2 games we've got to win. And Matty Longstaff on the bench for cover. I think this should be Sean's final game of suspension, I think, is it? Yeah, it will be. So obviously Sean's suspended. He'll be back next week for the game against Man City, thankfully. And Keith Young, neither here nor there really. So Matty Longstaff to provide that cover. Happy to see him come back if he gets a game. Because he hasn't played since Chelsea, I don't think, has he? Since Shelvey's come back, he hasn't even gotten on off the bench. So I would like to see him. We still need to watch his development. We still need to see him progress. So here's another one you don't want to rush in. Not because of injuries, because he's a young lad. Happy to see him make his England under-20s debut the other day. The front three, I'll start on the left because Brucey's been talking about Big Miggy. 2 goals in his last 3 international games. So he's off the mark. He's got 2 goals this season for Paraguay, not for Newcastle. But it's a start. Brucey says, I thought he was sensational against Bournemouth. I've never seen anybody in 20 years cover the distance and play with the intensity that he does. It'll come because he's a multi-talented player. If he scores 1, it'll open up. And I agree, we've been saying this for months now. As soon as he gets a goal, even an assist, he needs to just get that. He just needs to break through that barrier and score a bloody goal. And I think once he does, like, the weight will be off his shoulders. I think he's carrying a lot of pressure on him. But over the last few games, his performances have been great and he's getting there. Like me and Renty have been saying this for a couple of weeks, like the front 3 entirely. I'll stick Saint-Maximin in there now and talk about him at the same time. That getting there with Saint-Maximin, he's had a few... Like, he was injured a lot at the start of the season. So we've only really seen him play a handful of games, really. And coming to the Premier League, it's difficult. I think Almiron's taken a little bit longer to settle than most. But it's coming. Week after week, we've been getting better and better. And we're just waiting for the penny to drop and for the front 3 to click. Once we get a couple of goals between them, I think we'll be flying. We'll be sound. Like up fronts where we've been lacking the goals. We've been relying on Billy Kieran Clark. But once the click, we'll be flying. I'm absolutely convinced of that. So stick with that. I did say a couple of weeks ago, maybe you should drop Almiron. I'll pop Atsu in now. He'll come on the bench. I said, maybe, like me and Renty said this last year about Perez. When Perez got dropped, he'd come out fighting and he'd prove that he deserves to be in this team. Maybe we could try that with Almiron. Maybe not now because he is picking up them performances. But a few weeks ago, I definitely would have said, drop him, start Atsu, maybe keep him out for like a full away game and bring him back in for like 20 odd minutes at home and you'll see a difference. You'll be fighting for that place. You'll be wanting to prove to Bruce, I'm the main man. Don't play Atsu again. I'm here and I'm going to fight for this place and I'm going to show everybody what I can do. But as of now, like I say, his performances are getting better and better and we're just waiting for it to click. And it's coming. It's definitely coming. So hopefully we can see that on Monday against Aston Villa. Obviously, Joelinton up top. He's exactly the same as what I've just said about the other 2. He hasn't quite got his shooting boots on yet, but it's coming. He's new to the Premier League. He's still young, just turned 23. You can see he's a player. He wants to come deep and play. He wants to get on the ball, hold it up, pass it off. But he just needs to learn how to be a striker. If you're going to be a number 9, a lone striker, you need to be in the box. You need to be in them positions to score. As Super Malcolm McDonald told us the other day, you need to get chances. If you're not getting chances, you're not going to score. And that's the big problem. Like, you can shoot and you can miss. And that's fine. You'll learn from it. And if you have chance after chance, you're going to score goals. At the minute, Joelinton isn't getting a chance to even miss. And that's the problem. But with the 2 wide players, Almiron and Saint-Maximin, getting into some form, get some balls in, Gedlin and Willens as well out wide, get some crosses in. And he just needs to be there because he has a tall presence. He's a strong player, tall. He's got to learn how to be better in the air. He missed a sitter in one game, wasn't it? Was that against Norwich? Put one wide. Great header. But it should have been on target. So that's the 11. And for cover, we've got Dwight Gale. We're speaking to our friend Keith Downey from Sky Sports News last night, me and Renty, and I don't think he's entirely convinced of Gill's fitness. Like, I know he spent a long time to come into the squad. He's been in for the last few weeks now. I think he first come on against Chelsea, was it? We've only seen him off the bench a couple of times. I can't remember, 2-3 times this season. But, and I know like some fans have been calling like on Twitter and such for him to start, but I don't think his fitness is there, and you can say the same for Andy Carroll. We all know about Andy Carroll's fitness. He hasn't got 90 minutes in him. Even to start him and play him for 60 minutes, I don't think that's there. The best you can really get is from to be an impact player, 20 minutes off the bench, and same with Gale at this point. So that's why when people are saying, oh, drop Joelinton, start Gale, start Carroll, it's not really feasible. We need to stick with Joelinton and just have patience, because it's coming. Don't worry. But they're 2 great options to see for 20, 30 minutes, Gale and Carroll. There's some goals in them three. Just when Joelinton hits the mark, between the three of them, they can score goals when called upon. So that's my team for Monday night. Let me know what you guys think. Prediction 1-1. I'd like to say 3 points, obviously, but I think 1-1's a realistic shout, and I'd take a point, to be honest. I'd be quite happy with a point. 3 points are more than capable of getting that, but I'd take a point. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like this video, and please subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and please enjoy yourself.